Welcome to another episode of Day One Radio right here on the new home of Day One Radio. Live Hip Hop Daily in the building. I'm Maurice Garland. Got my man Brandon Peters in the building. What's going on?
Ain't nothing, bro. Just chilling, man. What we do last week? We wasn't in here last week.
We were not, but the listeners still got treated to an episode of the show when we interviewed DJ Drama and Don Cannon live from A3C, which was a fun conversation to have, man.
Yeah, that was popping, man. It's still a lot going on about the same thing. Dudes getting caught up with sexual harassment lawsuits. Players still kneeling. Donald Trump still tripping. Ain't much changed. That's kind of been the theme for the last few months. It's all good. Well, man, you know what we do here, man. Day One Radio is all about telling stories that haven't been told before, telling them right if they have been told before, man. And, you know, while we was at A3C, we ran into one of the old homies and one of the new homies, man. We got DJ Shawty Slim and Flaco Torres in here. Did I say that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, for sure.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. What people be calling it? Flaco?
Yeah, Floco. I got Flack this weekend.
Flack Torres.
Yeah,
With one R.
Yeah.
Flack Torres.
Yeah. These like that.
For sure. Nah, so man, if you guys don't know, Shawty Slim is the tour DJ for B.O.B., but
Flat
also Flat Earth hilarious.
Get out the way already.
Did you donate to the Kickstarter?
As a fan and a homie of B.O.B., I just want to see his questions get answered. I'm just eating the popcorn meme. That's what I'm doing.
So do you think the Earth is flat?
I don't care. Fall off
That's a good answer. That's a good
I
answer.
don't care.
Just depending on how far you travel.
Yeah.
Like,
I just want to know why the North and South Pole are illegal to visit. That's all I want to know.
because that's where the aliens are.
All right, cool.
Probably so.
Problem solved. Yeah, other than that, I don't care about it.
Probably so. Who knows, man? But yeah, man. So, you know, Flaco, you've been rapping for a minute, but really just, I would say, probably in the last few years, started like pushing heavy.
Yeah.
You know, with the videos, with the social, with all of that stuff. So, how did you guys meet initially?
I got a bad memory. I let you tell you.
Man, just kind of Macon's real small, and it's gotten big over the years.
That's Macon, Georgia.
Macon, Georgia, yeah. It's real small, and we just kind of all had the same homies, and just was like, yo, you gotta get with such and such. You gotta go meet this person, and I kind of always had a disdain for radio stuff, cause I did a few of those showcases, and it was like, yeah, you cool, but you ain't like. It was like I was either too rap or like too weird. So it was like everything I went to was just. So I was like, nah, I'm good. And we ended up meeting at 97.9. Just kind of went up there, and we went and did an interview with him. And I wanted to rap because that's it. Like, I'm from New Jersey, so I grew up listening to Cosmic Kev and all that stuff. So I was like, when you go to the radio, you rap. Like that's. He was like, well, I can't do this on air, but we could do it off air. He threw a bunch of beats on, and I was just like, and he was just testing me. He's like, keep going. And like, I had like 6 raps prepared. He made me rap for about 15 minutes, so I was just like freestyling, and then we just kind of kept in touch over the years after that.
How does one from New Jersey end up in Macon?
Right.
That's a hell of a pipeline right there.
I was supposed to end up right here in Atlanta. I had an internship. I dropped out of college for an internship at it was like with some folks that were hooked up with Columbia. And I had met someone from Georgia that was up there in Jersey, and I was like, yeah, you know, I kind of wanted to be involved in music, and I didn't know how, so I figured I get an internship at a record label or folks that's doing something. I make some CDs, write my name on it with Sharpie, leave them on the table, and then somebody be like, yo, this dude's dope. Let's work it out. And they canceled the internship probably because it was like a shady situation. Yeah. They canceled it before I came down, so I ended up coming, and my grandparents live in Georgia. So I was just supposed to stay for the summer and try to figure it out. Because, you know, I told everybody, like, I'm about to go be a star. Fuck y'all. Like, I don't know if I can curse.
Yeah, you good.
And so I had left, and I was like, well, I can't go back. Because I talked all this stuff when I left. So I stayed for the summer and met some folks. And I was like, all right, well, let's just see. All I knew is that I could rap. And I was like, I'm going to just figure it out. And if not, I'm going to get a job. So I was like, all right. And that was it.
That's why. And ended up in Macon, Georgia.
Yeah. And that Macon is a place where you gonna figure it out. Whatever it ends up doing, you're gonna figure out if you an alcoholic or a drug addict, or if you all of them and you ambitious. Macon is one of those places you could be whatever you want, and that's a good and a terrible thing at the same time. So.
Wow. So I mean, obviously you was feeling his talent when he came in and rapped. How did y'all actually start working together though? Because like we've known each other for years, and I know you to be a DJ radio guy. I never really knew you to be a producer or working with artists and, you know, in the space of putting out music. So
Well, this guy to my left, remember, I used to use Fruity Loops back and forth at the Fort Valley State University, and he used to come to my dorm room back in Boyd Hall. He had a couple of beats I don't remember that he made.
Yeah, I made some beats on Fruity Loops.
Yeah, back before FL Studio was cool. You know?
Okay, gotcha.
And so when he came to the station, I was just like, my boy 4th of July, he's from Fort Valley, he's on rail with us, and I was like, this dude can really rap, man. So then he was like, I'm doing a mixtape.
you can't just gloss over the fact that you know somebody named 4th of July.
Yeah, it was my boy 4th. He was born.
What is Fourth real name? Do we
Alvin.
Alvin? I got so used to call that man just Fourth Alvin.
Yeah,
Goddamn
but
I
Alvin.
would
his
go by
birthday-
4th as
his
well.
birthday is the 4th of July, and so we was on the radio. Maurice was in charge. He's like, you need a radio name. He's like, I'm gonna call myself Mr. 4th of July. I was like, all right, cool.
Hilarious.
So we just call him 4. But he said, I want you to host a mixtape for me. I'm like, cool. He said, I'm gonna call it Flacco's Modern Life. And I was like, I'll rock with that. But that's back when Drama and all them was out. So, you know, I had to make sure I had all my gunshots, all my rewind, all that. I kept scratching and bringing it back. And he's just a real genuine person. And I was like, I like to see people who can rap win, like with genuine talent. And I know that doing radio for so long, it's easy to get, you know, like you're good, but you're not now. You know what I'm saying? And trendy stuff, it really hurts a lot of good artists. So, and this is my homie, man. So I just believe in him.
For sure. You brought up Flacco's Modern Life, and one thing I thought was cool that you funded it through Kickstarter in 2010, which is a lot of artists weren't really doing that. At least not a lot of artists in the quote-unquote urban space were doing that. Like, what made you push that line, and were you surprised that it was successful?
When I got to make it in 2008, and it was all the shows. I had done like 3 or 4 shows up until that point. So all the shows that I did was always with hip hop artists and DJs, and it was always at like colleges, and somebody you knew was a promoter. You went, nobody was there. It was that sort of stuff. When I got to making, it was the first time I started seeing bands perform. So I was going to like punk rock shows and experimental shows and like noise shows and all this weird stuff. And I was thrown off. I was like, cause I've never heard of these bands, but there's 100 people in this room, and everybody's wearing their t-shirts, everybody's singing their songs. So I started looking at how bands move, because it felt like I couldn't relate to how rappers move. Because I was like, when I'm in the room with y'all don't want me there. So then I started doing that. And I found out about Kickstarter from a band they're making called Citizen Insane, and they were thinking about using it, but they didn't believe in their fan base enough. And I was, I learned how to tone down my arrogance from that time. But I was like, nah, man, we gonna make this work or whatever. So I was like, I'm gonna put together a band, and that would make it, rather than just being one person, it'd be 5 of us. So it'd be 5 of us promoting to get this. I think we were trying to get $2 grand. And I was like, if we could get, 5 of our friends to donate this much, it would get us this close. And we just kept pushing it. We kept pushing it. People liked the name because it goes off of the Rocco's Modern Life thing. And I was just new in the area at the time. It was a new energy. Nobody was really talking about Kickstarter. They never heard of it. And I was like, if it don't work, it don't work. That's, we'll try something else. And we got the money. And it was funny. It was like right after we got funded and we did the album, that was when it's like every band I knew, every artist I knew. It was like Amanda Palmer had gotten really famous for doing it shortly after that. And then Indiegogo and all these other companies started doing it. So it worked out.
And now you got every other rapper doing it.
Nah, you got the chick saying, Kickstarter, hey, I'm trying to go to All-Star Weekend. We ain't got no room. You can just throw me some.
First time I seen it, I was like, that's genius. I was like, I wish dudes
It's
could
digital
do that.
begging. Like, stop.
But it don't. It's so weird. It doesn't look like it. It really just.
No, it does. It does.
Stop, man.
It does. 100% it does. So yeah, man, you've done a gang of projects. Like, where does being this prolific come from? And you put up most of them via Bandcamp, right?
Yeah.
So is that like you just was into the direct to fan thing, or what's the science behind doing all of this work? Because it's cats that's like 60 years old that don't have 20 albums, like, or 20 projects, I should say.
I feel like a lot of artists that I was a fan of at the time and still a fan of have more records than this and have, I guess, like less notoriety or whatever that stuff is. So I always looked at that like I'm not doing enough. But I went to school for journalism. That was what I was trying to do. So writing was always my thing. So, writing novels, writing essays. I did the blog thing for a little bit, and I kind of got out of it right when 2 Dope Boys started popping, because I didn't know. I was like, I kind of want to be on the side of the artist, not like writing about them. So I backed away from that. But again, I just learned from bands and like artists I was doing shows with that they were just going directly to the fans. and iTunes and Spotify and everything is cool, and I got stuff up there. But it was just simple math, and I was like, when I put an album on Bandcamp, I can sell it for $10 and I get $7.92. When I put it on iTunes, I can sell it for $10, and at the time, you was getting like $5.30, and I was like, all right, that make enough sense for me, and I went in that direction. Obviously, for marketers and label people and stuff like that, it's hard for them to understand how you can have 21 albums on Bandcamp and not be to a certain level. But in my head, I was like, we doing shows, we getting paid, my lights is on. Right,
it's
cool.
about doing what works for you, not necessarily what works for them.
Yeah, I mean, I was, when people would come in, I was like, all you need to know is how you make your percentage of what we got coming in. So if I generate enough revenue that justifies you being here, then that's all the avenues really don't matter. But I was also saying those things at a time when we hadn't figured out that the avenues didn't matter. So I just kind of sounded like an arrogant asshole, which, I had to learn from some of that stuff. But as far as being prolific, I mean, I just create.
What percentage of the songs that you make do you actually put out?
Oh, man, somebody asked me that recently. Probably like 14%.
Damn.
Probably 14%.
So that means you got like hundreds of unreleased songs.
He can, because I produce now as well. So I
got about 40 on my laptop. I'm trying to make him put out. He's like, nah, I don't know. Man, I just make my own little mix, little playlist, just ride around in the car with it.
At one point, it was about putting out records to get noticed, and that was how I felt. It was like, I'm just gonna outwork everybody because I don't have any connections. I don't be at the clubs. I don't do that. Like, I do shows. I go home, and I was like, all right, well, I gotta get out here and start doing things. So I need to have something to promote. So put out more records. So when people started to notice more, then I started to pull back. And I was like, all right, now you're here. I'm not gonna do 4 records a year. I'm gonna do 2. Now I'm gonna do 1, and then just trying to, it's a learning process.
Like, what was it like building up a fan base in Macon? Because, like, I'm pretty familiar. I went to Fort Valley, which is like 30 minutes away from it, the Fort Valley State University. So a lot of times I would notice with Macon-based artists, they would always have the same complaint about the scene. They were like, oh, people just stop here on their way to Atlanta, or folks from down here, they don't really support you until you go to Atlanta and come back. You know what I'm saying? So, like, what was it like for you? What was your experience like, building a fan base out of that area?
I think I learned early on just from being around OGs and hustlers and stuff like that. It was always like, rep where you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, being from Jersey, we got more experience from Philly cats because that was closer to us than New York. North Jersey was New York cats. But even being in Jersey, it was like, nah, yo, rep, you from Jersey. Like, don't say you from Philly or whatever. So that was my mindset. So I was like, I'm in Macon, I'm not in Atlanta. Plus, I didn't know much about Atlanta. So I was like, I'm not going to act like I'm from there. I live in Macon, I'm repping Macon right now. So that's what it was. And I think people got behind that because it was no one really doing that. As far as the Macon scene was concerned, there were a few bands that were doing it, but it was the same things. Like, we're building up something to go up the street and be like, look what we've been doing. And I was like, nah, let's see if we can get Atlanta to come down here, the cats from Columbus or Athens or whatever. And I think people got behind that, and it was cool. Like, it was like our own little secret. Then after a while, you don't want to hold a secret for so long, and then like nobody is. I felt like we was doing like groundbreaking things in Macon, and 40 minutes up the road, there's like, Macon? Oh yeah, Jeezy be down there sometimes, right? Or just like something like that, right. And then that would be the end of the conversation. So then it was about, all right, well, how do we tell everybody else what we doing down here? So it was just always a process of just trying to put on for the city, because I thought it's still a lot of great things going on down there. And Atlanta's historic. Atlanta's a legendary city. I didn't want to be trying to attach myself to that, because it just looks corny when you like, people know where you from. Like, they know for a fact where you from. It's like, and then you get on, it's like, you from Atlanta. No, you're not. Right?
I mean, it works for several other rappers.
Yeah. Yeah. And in hindsight, maybe I should have took a little bit of that. But,
so all kind of rappers claim Atlanta ain't from Atlanta.
As far as like connecting to the people down there, like, was it a hard sell with the kind of music that you make? Because, for a minute, Macon did have the reputation of like, man, if you ain't talking about gang banging and shooting up, bro, like, it ain't gonna pop down here,
I think that was what worked. It worked the other way. Like, it worked in a positive way, because Cass was just like, yo, he like talking, and that this was 2008, 2009. So I'm trying to remember some of the Wayne records. But remember when like Wayne was from space, like everybody was.
Oh yeah.
We were all heavily influenced by like the internet rap, the blog era. So Mickey Fats, Charles Hamilton, Kid Cudi, Asher Roth, all that stuff. So we were mixing we would go to shows and mix every sound we heard. So we went to a punk rock show and then like an alternative show, and then a rap show. We mixed all that and made songs. So that was
you can hear it though.
And
you can definitely hear it, yeah,
from what everybody was doing. So I feel like that's what it was. It was an easy sell because everybody else was doing that, and I never came from that back. I knew cats that did all of that stuff, and they were like, you don't need to be out here. Like, you're gonna get killed. Go do whatever. So it was easy to sell. It was like, oh, okay, cool. This is different, and it just kept building up. Right. And then you know, you could rap too, so that does something to it.
You spoke a little bit to like just the legacy of well, not even the legacy, just the pushing the line for making and pushing this artistry, the current artistry, to other people. But speak a little bit on how like the legacy, the musical legacy of the city has impacted your music as well, because it's a lot of legendary artists that are from Macon as well.
Yeah, shout out to the Otis Redding Foundation. I always got to say that just because they supported us for so long. Otis Redding, Lil Richard, James Brown, like the Allman Brothers, and then you started learning about all these artists that were coming through town, just doing stuff during the Stax record time. So just working with the Otis Redding Foundation, I learned so much. And you hear music. Otis Redding at times was damn near a rapper back then. Like I would hear, he got a song called Don't Mess With Cupid. I play that song at least 3 times a day. So when I look back on my time in Macon, that's what I think about, is I was just absorbing all of these sounds. Like I came to Georgia as a blank canvas, not really having a sound. I had one song that I was kind of pushing, and it was because it was a song called Hot Like the Sun, that it was what I thought everybody was supposed to be doing. So I made a catchy chorus over kind of like what's now I guess a trap beat. And then I look at everything I did during that time now, and I was heavily influenced by everything I was hearing, like a lot of that soul music, which essentially is what I grew up listening to, you know, hearing in the house, but getting the actual stories from Otis's wife, you know what I'm saying, or cats that played shows. Newton Collier played horns with the Barkays. So like having a beer with him and just like hearing the stories of how it was popping and then when it wasn't popping, watching Robert Lee Coleman, absolutely trashed, just show up to a show and guitarists like take off their guitar like during their show and he get up and play with the band. You know what I'm saying? Just like having those experiences. But then it was the best kept secret thing. You having these experiences in Macon and no one else knows that this shit is happening whatsoever. And then you tell these stories and they're like, all right, that's cool. So when you coming up here? And then that be the end.
Because people don't respect like real music, man. Like people don't respect. And you sitting up there laying back in the cut like we're not gonna talk to you. You're not gonna get off that quickly. So, bro, how did you end up being from Atlanta, going to Fort Valley, start DJing or whatnot? How did you end up staying and I feel like, I don't know about anybody else, I have done exactly what you said. Been like, so bro, when are you moving? Like, okay, at what point are you going to
So I'm gonna do the condensed version. And my partner here, Maurice, was there for most of this. I didn't want to go to college. I didn't. My mom was like, you're not gonna stay in my house. I was like, cool. I had a job at Publix at Lenox. I was paying her $300-400 a month. I was getting paid $500 a month at 18. I thought I was balling. So I put in the application to Fort Valley, so she'd leave me the hell alone. They accepted me and my low SAT scores because I thought you could skip half the test and still pass. So yeah, don't.
You were a genius.
Yeah, what it was, and it's just I'm a smart guy, but I get bored extremely fast. So it made me not want to do my work. Right. So went to Fort Valley, didn't really want to do it. Met this guy. We started doing radio. It was just me, him, and my homeboy PJ. Just 3 of us, and we
don't forget about 4th of July.
Yeah. Oh,
he came in like he came on day 2.
But I will say that we built a wave to the point where we be at homecoming. Oh, what's up? And they people like, man, I heard stories about you and Maurice. Like, I'm trying to be just like y'all. And we sitting there like, all right, nigga. Shit, like. But then, so I went there, shout out to Shirley Ellis. She put me on the radio. She put damn near every generation of radio for the last 15 years in Macon went through Fort Valley, and she put everybody on. Wow. You know what I'm saying? So I went to, I heard College Dropout one day, and I dropped out the same day I heard it. But I had also got an internship at Sirius and Sirius Radio back in New York. So I went in the mass comm office, and I got some letterhead paper. Said, hey, I got to send this to the record label. I forged a letter from a teacher whose class I wasn't taking, Went to New York, did that. They didn't know I dropped
That's
out.
how you got up there.
Yeah.
So like, I remember you were like, man, I got the internship at XL. I'm like, all right, come out there. We came to visit you one time up there.
Well, it's been so long I can tell you now.
Yeah.
So while I was gone, another DJ partner of mine, DJ Wiz, had quit 97.9 and went to the new Cumulus station down there. So I was doing mixes and just sending them in, not getting paid. And it was like, you want to come do a Sunday show? I was like, all right. But I was already know how to do production, so I ended up being production manager. Ended up getting the night show, #1, 7-8 years. And while I'm down there, my boy DJ Smooth said, I got a partner named B Rich, man. What's up? So I met B Rich. I got an artist named B.O.B. And he brought me Haters Everywhere. I played that song so much one week, I got suspended because they thought I was getting paid to play. It's like, what's this song coming up 30 times in my spin report that I don't know about? I'm like, that's that B.O.B. Like, who the fuck is B.O.B.? I'm like, well, by that time, I had got Bob a show in the city.
Yeah.
Got a little money. It was packed, and it was like, I'll never forget you. Fast forward, B Rich called me. He was like, Nothing on You came out. He #1 in the country. And I was calling like once every 3-4 months, like, hey man, just how y'all doing? Just checking in on you. He said, we going on tour with Rihanna. You want to DJ? I'm like, you bullshitting? He's like, nah. So I'm thinking it's just for the weekend, like couple spot days.
Yeah.
And 6.5 years later, I'm still his DJ. I had to quit the radio station because I was gone so much.
Right.
So, shout out to B.O.B., man. Regardless of what you think, that is a talented motherfucker rep. He rep the East Side everywhere we go. Plays hella instruments. And I've just been fortunate, man.
We definitely had him on the show, man. He's a solid dude.
Yeah,
sure.
man. But it's
Most
just
definitely.
that's me, man, in a nutshell, And then I moved downtown Macon because it was right before they started gentrifying it. Really, with what they So I ran into this guy and hanging out in the local bars. My boy Fourth, my homeboy Dirty. And then after I found out he could really rap, I was like, yo, fuck with him. So that's my partner now, man. I ain't really important, man. I'm just out here.
One thing y'all both put me on to, which I had no idea about, is the movement and just the creativity coming out of Akron, which is where you're based at now, right?
Yeah.
Speak on that, because I think that's you talking about like best kept secrets.
That library is the shit, man.
I don't think a lot of people know that it's real artistry coming out of Akron.
I think so. Over my time in Macon too, I realized I'd hit a ceiling. It just wasn't really happy with what was going on. So I was trying to figure out where to go, and I was like, I'm not moving to Atlanta. I'm not going to New York. I'm not going to LA. Like, I've been to these places and I know what it is. But I was finding out what I like and where I like to make my impact. And it's in cities like Macon, but a little bit bigger, where I can be hands-on in the community and still, like, I'm earshot. So, for instance, in Akron, Cleveland's like 30-40 minutes away. So I can get there when I need to. But for my lifestyle, like as an independent musician, like it's certain things that I have to take into account because everything comes out of my pocket.
Right.
So I'm trying to live where I can live like a king. I'll be up there when you need me, but like I'm down here. So I ended up moving to Akron. A buddy of mine from Macon moved to Akron 4 years ago, and he started a magazine. Basically a magazine that exists in Macon, but kind of fell off because people weren't really supportive.
Was it Georgia Up and Coming?
The 11th Hour.
11th Hour, okay.
Yeah, it's basically an arts and culture magazine that highlights the shows, bands, bars, and stuff like that. He went to Akron and started the same magazine. Akron didn't have one. And that was like the missing piece for the scene that was going on, because it was like, we got dope stuff going on, but no one knows about it, and we don't know how to find out about it. So he went 4 years ago, and then our buddy DJ Roger Riddle went 2 years ago. And he had retired from DJing, was like, we all work with the Knight Foundation, kind of doing like grant-based projects and stuff. So he went up there, he was like, I'll just work with them. He was up there for 6 months and was like, came out of retirement, was DJing, it was like girls sitting on the table like behind him, and I was like, man, what the fuck going on? So I had narrowed it down to 3 cities. It was gonna be, it was because it was all night cities. It was Boulder, Colorado, Philly, or Akron. And being from Jersey, I was like, I know what Philly is. I don't want to. That's essentially going back home. So I was like, I'm not gonna do that. So I went and visited and played a show in November in Akron, and it was they have this DIY community. It's 13 house venues, and that's basically the music scene in Akron. Because there's like 2 major venues, but they got tired of that, so they started turning their houses into venues, and that's how the bands come through town. And then it's self-sufficient. It runs on its own. They have a committee. They meet once a month, say, all right, this house is doing this. We need to work on this, da-da-da. And I played at one of those houses, and I was like, nah, I got to come here at least for a year. It's so much talent in that town. I'm trying to, like, Akron is like a cartoon. Like, it really is. There's so much public art. There's so much. It's the first city I've ever been to where the government there spends so much money for you to win. There's so many opportunities in the city. There's a studio in the library. The first day I moved there, we were like looking for jobs or using the internet until ours got set up. And I looked over and there's a Studio A and a Studio B. It's free, 4-hour blocks. One room is treated, one room isn't. One room's for like podcasting, and the other one they got recording equipment, 8-track mixer, all free. You can do green screen stuff there. We use the green screen for a new video we about to drop. Sewing machine, 3D printer, banners, all of this, and it's public. Like,
not to mention that the Black Keys are from there. LeBron, they got a big LeBron poster in the middle of downtown.
Yeah, I was gonna say you met LeBron, yeah.
Nah, I work with the. I didn't work with him. I went to an event about working with the LeBron Foundation, and they just do. Obviously, they do amazing stuff in the city. I live basically 3 blocks from St. Vincent St. Mary, where he went to high school. So like, and LeBron is he is active.
Oh yeah.
So like, he can't do no wrong. All the other stuff, they'd be like, yeah, you know, whatever. He can go wherever he want, but he home here, so none of that like bad mouthing or whatever. It's and then the Black Keys are from there. Yeah, like the public transportation, they got Wi-Fi on the buses. Like, it's just
that's crazy.
It's just it's like a cartoon. It's just a really, really cool city. So I'm there right now. We'll see. I'm there till next summer right now, but I can see me being there longer.
No, and forgive me because you put out so much music. I don't know which one was the last project. What was the last project?
The last project was Again.
Again. Oh, that's what I thought. I didn't know if Porsche or Again was the last.
Nah, it's all good. It's all
okay, good. What's the song? I think it's on Again. The Elevators joint?
Yeah.
How did you come up with it? Like, that shit is genius because you cover. No, I'm dead ass serious. Like, you cover sexual harassment in the workplace, race, climbing the corporate ladder, hiring motherfuckers that will take your job in 3 verses that are like you're not preaching at all. It's like that's the song that everybody can relate to. Like, that shit needs to be licensed in movies and TV shows. Like, how did you come up with that?
Working on that, by the way. He was on, so being on tour with Bob, like, he'll just send me beats. So like, when tour is coming up, I'm like, all right, cool. We gotta work, like, we gotta really get a plan because you're gonna be gone for 2 months. And you can work remotely, but it's hard after a while. You gotta be in the same room. So an artist that's on Bob's label, Jock Beats, makes beats. Really dope cat. Free Jock Beats, man.
Jock Beats, like that.
Yeah.
Nah, we'll tell you.
But
like, I remember seeing that dude's rise. Like, I remember the day I believe that B Rich discovered him at Apache at a beat battle, and then they brought him on the team.
No, it's just the album ain't out. I got a copy of it, but just I don't know what's going on. But
I ain't gonna speak on that message, but like, just he's super dope, and I would love for more people to hear him. But he sent me a beat. He said, so Jock played that. The keys on it, and the first thing I thought, I was like, I didn't like the beat. I was like, it sounds like fucking elevator music. Like, why would I want to do? But then the more I listened to it, I was like, oh shit. So then I just thought about making a song in the elevator, and I went to school for journalism. I like telling stories, and as far as speaking on social issues, some of my favorite artists have taught me, and I've never met them. They've taught me how to not speak on social issues. Like, I'm a big Lupe Fiasco fan. I defend him to the ends of the earth. And I'd be like screaming with cats and bars, like, you don't understand. He's so dope. Like, he telling you all this stuff. And they be like, yeah, man, but I don't want to hear that 2 in the morning. And I learned that from artists like Lupe and stuff like that. It was like, I feel it is my responsibility to speak on certain issues, but in a way that I can actually get the message to you. It's not really about how I feel about it. I don't care about that. Like, I want you to know that either we relate on it or I feel like you need this information, but what's the best way to get it to you to where you'll actually digest it? You don't have to think how I think, but just take the information. And when I came up with the concept, I wanted to, because I wrote 2 versions and it was all about being black in the workplace, and I was like, that's not, everybody can't relate to that. It's other people that are struggling, and I want to talk about how women struggle and, you know, a lot of the things that they're going through. And then I don't know, it just came to me to do the backwards thing, and I was like, cats lose their jobs for like younger people, and you know, this person knows this person and stuff like that. I've dealt with it trying to break into the music industry or whatever. Like, I don't know cats, so
man, you playing with that shit. I was like, how the fuck you do this, man? I was blown up. We trying to shoot a video. It was like,
you got to shoot a video.
It's like, but to see, I got this little saying. I was like, we the no budget boys. Like, we do everything out of pocket.
Fuck
like,
that. You don't speak. You don't even speak that into existence.
No. But I was gonna say it's like all the videos we've shot, I shot with my iPhone, but I learned shit really quick, so I know how to edit. And people was like, man, this looks great. I was like 24 frames per second, anything looks great. You know what I'm saying? Like my iPhone shoots 4K.
Right.
So it's like not having a budget made us more creative.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? It's like some ghetto engineers, man. So like we go out, we do a show, we save money, we fly out somewhere. We shoot just to get a visual and we fly back. But when he did, I was like, this has to be a fucking video.
Yeah, we have like a specific sort of way this has to look.
I mean, you can see it when you listen to the song.
It's trippy. When I heard it, I was just like, this guy's a fucking genius.
No, those are the type of songs that make you like rock with an artist. Like, okay, that's the type of songs that make you be like, nah, you need to listen to this. Like you mentioned Lupe, like none of the singles. The song that grabbed me from Lupe was American Terrorist.
Yeah.
Like that was the one I was like, oh, because this is different. You know what I mean? But nah, man, that shit is genius. I was like, I played that shit like 3 times. When I listened, I was like, okay.
And some of them come like, you know, I can't remember. It was like Jadakiss said that or something. He's like, whether I do it on the spot or if it takes me long. Like I can't remember. By Your Side, he said that in. But it's like some songs I'll sit on for months and months. We got joints now that's just like, it's not coming to you. It's not. I got the verses, but I don't got the hook. He had that on loop upstairs, and I could hear it from the floor. And I just went downstairs. It took me like 20 minutes. It made sense to me. So I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
And I didn't think it was gonna make the record because of the concept. And there'll be some stuff I'll do, because when I recorded it and he was playing it back, he was like, I don't really understand why you rapping about a woman, but he's like, I know once I hear it, because people will hear it the first time and they're like,
you got on a dress, nigga?
Right.
He fucked me up. Then I was like, oh shit.
Exactly the same thing. Yeah, but that's art.
Yeah.
Nah, I appreciate that, man. That's definitely my favorite record on there, next to Age of Comfort. So
definitely, nah. The joint is ill, man. Like, what did you guys like? Working relationship like how do you guys, what's the creative process?
So
like?
The first time we really did a project I produced was Dreamboard. I thought I had found this chick I wanted to marry, and she broke my heart, and I was so sad. So we had in the little bootleg loft we was telling y'all about. Rainy Sunday, and we was talking about some samples. I'm a fucking sample junkie. And then a friend of ours was like, I was like, sometimes I said, I got beats. He was like, well, you got raps? I said, shit, I got raps. They want y'all to do a project. I'm like, fuck it, let's go. So record that shit. Matter of fact, half of them beats I made in Fort Valley. I was on the Dreamboard project.
Man, what was that website? So it was, remember, it was MySpace?
SoundClick.
Okay, it was back when I Mean was a thing.
Yeah.
I was like, yo.
So we did Dreamboard, and the city really came and fucked with it. We did we performed it live, and then we said, let's do another one. So then we did one called Vinsanity, big Vince Carter fan.
Yeah.
So, and it talked about a lot of social issues, when like the Mike Brown shit was happening. It was a really, really dark album, but people had to hear it. And then my personal favorite then was like, let's do another project. We did Porsche, and I produced that one, and I was really, really proud of that. But we had on SoundCloud, it was like, samples cost, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to call my homegirl Nikki and be like, can you clear this for me? But I was like, man, I'll just put it on SoundCloud. We just shoot some videos on my phone, man, just call it a day. Yeah. And then he was like, this next one, bro, it got a stream. It got a stream. So we made it again, and he said he's moving. I'm going to call it again because it's like I'm starting over, but I know what it is. It's like I call it being 30. Because it's like, when you 30, it's like, okay, I used my whole 20s to fuck off. I kind of know what it is now, so let me do it the right way this time. And then we put it up. But like, I used to just make a bunch of beats and say, what you think, my nigga? And he'd be like, drums whack on that. I'm like, all right. And I go back and fix it. Or he'll make some, what you think about this? I'm like, well, this ain't such and such. But we trust each other's creativity. Yeah, and then, like, we never know where we're going. But then halfway through, we'd be like, oh, this is what the album's going to sound like.
Yeah,
oh, okay,
we
cool.
just did that this weekend when he came up for the show. We had went through a couple joints, and I was finishing some old joints, and then I played him like 4 songs, because I'd be like texting him stuff, or we'll do the Google Hangout thing. He's like, yeah, all right, cool. I don't really get it. That's kind of weird, but whatever.
It's not the same with him being gone, because I was like, no, when you leave, it's technology, bro. But then I get the most work done when I'm in the room with him. So
right.
I gotta move the
energy.
Yeah, man.
This weekend, I played him the 4 joints, and he was like, oh, okay. And I was like, yeah. So now from this point on, because the next one is a full-length album. Everybody's like, you got to do an album, all these EPs, and it's like, it's always something.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. When it's the album.
All right, so the album's gonna be coming in March.
Okay.
So we're doing the process of, between all of those projects, we got a whole bunch of loosies and stuff left over. It's probably like 100 joints, not to mention the stuff that I've been making. So if you add it all up, it's probably like 200 songs. So we're going through and just picking verses, words, little things that I said, concepts, and just trying to make the best possible thing, because this is the most eyes that I've had on anything that I've been doing, like my entire I guess 10 years now. So I'm just like, you just want to you just want to capitalize on that and make it a moment. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't really care about being famous and none of that bullshit.
Shit, I won't be famous.
Well, you know, he
Come buy a beat from your boy, man.
can do that.
What you like more, man, DJing or producing?
Producing. DJ is boring to me now. And it's I think it's just me because like I said, Reese will tell you, I never liked the club. He used to be like, man, you need to do a student center party. I was like, I don't do that shit. He's like, whatever. DJing is fun, but I don't like being told what to do or told what to play. When I produce, I can just make whatever. And I consider myself a Kanye kid. I like to sample.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you're trying to get shit clear, like, that's a whole nother. So, like, I'm doing, like, kind of what Crit doing. Like, I've talked to Crit once. He was like, yeah, I try to get people to play interpolations of the sample.
Yeah,
right.
Because he was like, man, ain't nobody got no budget like that, bro. And I was like,
That's
yeah, you're
right.
right. So, but
You
producing is fun, though.
You just gotta keep producing good shit, and then you get a couple hits, and you can be like Questlove and DJ and play whatever the hell you want to play.
Or do like
and people
I saw,
just sit there and look at you like, "What the fuck is you playing?"
like I saw like,
party.
like I was on the road with Bob and Mustard was on the show, and he got up there and they could pay him to stand there for an hour and play all
Play
the shit
his
he made.
songs,
And I
yeah,
was
his
like,
songs.
this fucking
Dog,
mean.
I was in Amsterdam last year, and he was DJing up the street from my hotel, and I went and I was like, I feel like I am at a party in LA right now because he is only playing his songs. The
Ain't nothing wrong
R&B
with that.
stuff,
Yeah.
a little bit of EDM, and all the YG
But
songs.
that's him though, and I was just like, I kind of like that, and I was like, let me take it serious, and I fuck with Ableton like real hard, man. As a DJ, it's good at like tempo sequencing and stuff, and I find a lot of EDM people use it, and I like house music. Like I make little house EPs for myself, like Smoke too.
Yeah.
And then so like I just like creating.
You
man.
need to share some of that stuff, man.
I know I'm real bad at promotion, and I people have
I
told
don't
me
care
that.
if you share with everybody else. You share with us.
All right, you know
I
what?
want to hear. Yeah, I'm
From
gonna hear.
now on, I'm like, hey man, it's the new shit. Here you go.
Yeah,
Cool.
exactly.
Like, what was it like trying to build? I don't want to try to give you credit for building a DJ culture and making, but I did not know that the DJs were that deep down there until I saw you throwing parties
Okay.
and promoting these folks.
Get to him. He did that.
He did.
All right, so
he did
sorry.
that.
So as a DJ, I'm a big fan of Jazzy Jeff. He's the great
The
white
greatest.
whale. He's
He
the
is
great
the
white whale I
greatest
haven't
DJ,
seen
period.
live yet. I got a chance.
What?
Haven't seen because every time he has a show, I got a show with Bob. Every fucking time, and it pisses me off. I was just like, God, what the fuck?
Bro, let me tell you, bro. I was convinced that this dude was the GOAT of DJs because I saw him play like a CIAA party where the majority of the people in there was 35 and older. Murdered a slow jam set. I want to see the foot. Like the love, the high note love thing for music. He put that like in between every song in the slow jam set to merge the set. But then I seen him do like Moon or something in Vegas, and it was like completely different set.
Nah, he's
Majority white
not of
crowd
this world,
still
nah.
murdered it. But then I seen after AM died, him and Premier
yeah.
did 4 turntables side by side at the same time
Crazy.
in a tribute to AM. I was like, this dude, there's no
His
one
musical
better.
aptitude is so retarded, bro. I was just like, wow.
There's no one better.
So with Jeff, I always wanted to play. First time I really like wanted to go see him live was like I heard him do a do over, and as a DJ, you know, motherfuckers want to play the do over, man.
Yeah.
Like, so I was like, fuck. I know I'm not at that level yet, but I was like, I'm gonna do a party in Bacon called the Overdue. Cause it's overdue for all these DJs to come in. And before I went on the road, I had a little college bar down there, lying down the street, popping and shit, playing all the popular shit. But there's so many other DJs in town. People like, hey, Slim, can you do this? Slim, can you do this? I'm like, I'm out of town, but my partner DJ, well, I don't really know him. I'm like, there ain't no excuse. If I vouch for him, I saw like, fuck it. I'm gonna do a party at this little coffee shop. I'm gonna give all my niggas 30 minutes. So the first time I did it, I was like, hey, y'all throwing a party with 8 DJs. And niggas was like, huh? Is that many DJs in Macon? I said, well, bring your ass out here and see. I like, ain't no cover. They sell food in here. They just don't sell liquor. They was like, all right, bet. Packed it out. After that, I did another. When I did one, we had 12 DJs in 4 hours. And it's just like, cause I was like, I wanted to use the spotlight on me with being out with Bob. People kind of made me this kind of local celebrity, and I'm just like, I'm just a nigga from down the street. I was like, but I want to take, since you're paying attention to me, look at my niggas though. Like all my partners here, while I'm out of town, he does like EDM. Shout out to my boy B3, like he plays Caribbean music and everything else. My boy Red Panda, he plays EDM, and like our partner here does this, partner does this. So now they all like get gigs now, and they was like, thank you. I was just like, nah, man. As a responsibility of whatever you just consider fame, you got to help others. So that was just my gift to the city, man.
That's big, man. Final question, man. If somebody is like, okay, I like this dude, never heard of him. What would you tell or people that just know again because it's on all the services? Yeah. Where would you tell them to start when they're digging into you? I know you probably got to think real hard about this one.
Nah. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I would just say listen to Porsche. You go from again to Porsche, and the way the Bandcamp is set up, if you go to the page, you can probably just go like through the rows, and it's not gonna. I made sure that it wasn't in order because I think that's kind of corny. But like if you start at Porsche, and if you've heard again and you start at Porsche, then your mind is open to like lyrically and concept what I do, and then you can just kind of follow, just you already got an open mind, so you can listen to some of the other stuff. And when you get near the bottom, some of that stuff's gonna be old, so it's just you might find some things in there you like. But
one thing I want to say though is like when we did our project, I always admired Flacco because I was like, this little motherfucker ain't got no crew, no squad. He just out here working hard as hell. It's almost like when you got like a toy car and it's going as fast, but it's just like in a wall. Yeah. I was like, let me just do this so he can go this way. Right. So I started making beats and we just started making magic. So I was like, as a friend, I care about him enough. So I was like, if it work or it don't work, I'm gonna be right here to drink a beer with you regardless, my nigga. So that's real. So good, man. 100%.
Let people know where they can find you, man, on social media. Both of y'all.
Oh yeah, FlaccoTorres.com. I'm on Instagram.
Spell your name.
Oh yeah. FLOCOTORRES. I'm on everything: Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud. Luckily, I got one of those names where I ain't know the real whatever. It's Flacco Torres.
Flacco Torres 81.
right.
It's I think that the Bandcamp page though is Flacco Torres 7. The number 7.bandcamp.com.
There's 6 other Flacco?
No. It's because they do something with the website where you got to put something else on there. But yeah, Flacco Torres, you can find me anywhere on there.
Shawty Slim, SHAWTYSLIM. CreateTheCool.com. Get you a hoodie. I got nieces, man.
He ain't bring us shit.
Hey, I had to buy this one for myself.
That's a damn shame.
But I got you though.
I got some.
Appreciate it. I was.
It's about him.
We support our own. Man. I was just playing.
So I owe you music and a hoodie. Bet, my nigga.
Yes, sir. Man, we appreciate y'all listening. We appreciate y'all watching. Make sure you follow us on Day One Radio on all your social media. That is DAY, the number 1, and radio. Not ONE, but the number 1. Day One Radio. And also follow us on Hip Hop Trivia ATL on all your social media.
The most lit trivia in the fucking city.
Oh, y'all do that joint.
Yeah. It's probably, you see, that was organic. Okay. We gets it cracking, and we will be coming to a city near you very soon, man. We appreciate y'all listening, appreciate y'all watching, and we'll see y'all next week with another dope show.